Hey guys, welcome back to Kingdom College. We'll be going through a selective high school trial test, specifically power reading test 18. So let's get into it. So from questions 1 to 4, we have an extract called Ready to Rumble by Dr. Carl K. Once again, please try and read this extract in your own time and maybe even have a go by yourselves. So considering this is a closed extract, we're going to be taking a look at the sentence before and after it. So in the context information, just in general, like a summary of what the extract is about, like what is this extract about. So this one is actually about cats, right? And also something new that they're actually introducing here is punctuation. I'd really like you guys to take a look at that. So I'm just gonna mark that in red here. So here we have a dash, right? So I'm not sure if you guys know what this punctuation is supposed to mean, but it's actually trying to communicate to us that this is not a finished sentence, right? Usually there is some sort of sudden change of mind or something that can be continued, right? So that's what is being demonstrated here for question 1. So let's take a look at question 1 first before we look into the rest of the punctuation, because we'll do that as we go. So please have a read of the options as well. So we have A, B, C, D, and E, right? So if we take a look at question 1, let's read the sentence beforehand. It's a simple and happy relationship. We take care of them and they catch rodents for us. And then we have the punctuation here, the dash, a sure sign of contentment, or is it? Okay, I'm not really sure if you guys know what contentment means, but contentment is often associated with happiness, but it's usually with a specific kind of happiness. Usually it's very like peaceful, calm. You may actually also hear contentment or content in the context of religion or spirituality, and in that case it's actually supposed to mean oneness. Okay, so we can also take a look at that here. Okay, yeah, so that's what contentment is actually referring to in this extract, right? So let's go take a look at our options again. All right. Keep in mind that the dash we have is showing that it needs to be continuation. And also, this is the first paragraph we have, so we're not looking for information that is that we need to have a bunch of prerequisite information on, right? It's the first paragraph, so they're just trying to introduce us to just small pieces of information, and they'll dissect it even more as we continue reading, right? So for example, if we take a look at A, the mechanics of a cat's purr are still a bit of a mystery, right? This part, they actually haven't mentioned a cat's purr yet. We have to try and introduce that in like this said sentence, right? So if we take a look at B, they let us know that we have kept our side of the bargain by purring. This is a great sentence to put in because it introduces purring, okay, which is the sign of contentment that we're looking for. Okay, so whilst it introduces that purring is a sign of contentment, it also introduces just purring in general, okay? Because all we knew about cats in those first 2 sentences is that there is some sort of companionship between human beings and cats. So the appropriate answer would actually be B. So let's have that there. Now let's take a look at question 2. Once again, I'm going to mark this in red. So we can actually look over here. Sorry, that was a bit... Okay. It's a full stop. So we're looking for a full sentence as our answer. Okay. Now let's read the sentence before. It starts with when they're about a week old, like they're talking about purring, and then if you try, you can make a kind of rumble when you breathe out, but the rumble generated while breathing in sounds is rather strangled. Now we're actually going to be going into detail about the sound of purring. Okay, so let's take a look at our options again. So A is not an option for us, okay, because we're we need a sentence just a bit before it, just a bit before the sentence that introduces us to the sound of a cat's purr. Okay. C is not actually what we're looking for because they're trying to specify what kinds of purrs that they're looking for now, right? The two distinct purrs. But what we're actually looking for is just the sound, okay? This is two distinct purrs for different situations. We're not talking about circumstances. We're looking for just the sound. Now, D, right? A cat's purr is a bit like a human smile. Sure, we smile when we are happy, but we might also smile nervously when we feel threatened. This is not the appropriate answer because now we're focusing a bit more on like when cats purr. Once again, we're looking at the sound, okay? Now, if we look at E, they can do it while either breathing in or breathing out and with their mouths closed. This actually describes the sound of breathing in or inhaling and then exhaling, okay? And also it describes like they can breathe in and out while like their mouths are closed, so it's not really an issue if their mouth isn't closed, right? So E is actually the appropriate answer. So, okay, number 3, okay? Once again, it's a full stop, okay? Something really interesting about E as well is that this is the first sentence of the third paragraph, okay? Now, first paragraph, we're introducing that, Dr. Carl is introducing that we're going to be talking about purring cats, the cat's purr at least. Second paragraph is introducing just at least the sound, a very basic, the surface level the surface level of a cat's purr. The question 3, we actually start comparing it to a human snore at least, or we're describing it, describing when they would purr, and just once again comparing it to humans, right? So the sentence after that, a cute version of a human snore perhaps. Okay. First sentence of a paragraph, by the way, should be a bit of a new topic, but it shouldn't be a concluding topic. It should just be like a bit of an interesting sentence that that tries to get us hooked as the audience, right? So for example A, the mechanics of a cat's purr are still a bit of a mystery. It's short, it's engaging, it's talking about cat's purr, then it's specifying the mechanics, okay, right? So because we focused previously before on the sound of a cat's purr, now we're trying to take a look at maybe like when they purr, right? So A, especially also considering that it's a sentence that's trying to introduce the concept of the mechanics of a cat's purr, right, is an appropriate answer. Okay, no new information is no new sudden information is being introduced. We're still on the same topic of a cat's purr, but it's engaging us. So the answer is A. Number 4 is a bit interesting because this is the final paragraph. Not really paragraph, final line perhaps. So it's basically like the concluding sentence. Okay. Also here, let's take a look at that. It's a comma, right? So similar to the dash we were looking at before, we're looking at a sentence that, or our answer, sorry, is not a complete sentence, right? So should be blank, or if someone is being carried towards us, okay? Towards us, humans. Okay, sorry, that should have been written in red. Okay. So, perspective in articles or extracts can also be a bit important here as well. So, we only have two more options, okay? There are two distinct pers which are used for different situations, okay? So, this sentence includes new information, right? So it's not appropriate. It's new information, and because it's new information, it should not be used in a final sentence, especially in a concluding paragraph or final line. It should really be summarizing what the text is trying to tell us or teach us, right? Now D, a cat's purr is a bit like a human smile. Sure, we smile when we are happy, but we might also smile nervously when we feel threatened, right? Or if someone is being catty towards us, okay? So just hearing the flow of that sentence, D is the appropriate answer, okay? Also because it is fitting towards the fact that, to this part, okay? It says it's referring to us as humans. D, it also includes humans, right? So it's appropriate and fitting. Let's move on to the second extract, which is a bit of a it is a bit more of an informative article. This extract is actually about basically frog enthusiasts and how they record species of frogs and like where they're located, specifically like in Melbourne, okay? So let's take a look at these questions, and please keep in mind what this extract is trying to tell us, okay? So they're trying to tell us to be a bit more aware, trying to inform us a bit more on the species of frogs, where they're located, etc., right? So question 5. Which word best summarizes the status of the common spade frog in Melbourne? So I'm going to dissect this question like in red. So status and common spade frog in Melbourne, okay? So we're specifically looking for this, okay? We're going to refer to the text because this is a comprehension exercise. Now status, okay? Status is like the state, okay? Or like where / how they are. They brackets the frogs, okay? Because we're talking about the common spade frog after all, right? So if we actually take a look into this extract, we'll take a look for the common spade frog, which is here. Sorry, I think there is a typo over here. Sorry about that, guys. So we can take a look at the context, okay? So maybe around here-ish, right? Sorry, that is incredibly thick. Right. So volunteers have recorded more than 3,000 frog calls and identified 13 species of frogs since the initial 2001 census, okay? If we take a look at the first paragraph, it's been 2000, we have a 2008 to 2009 frog census, okay? So ever since 2002, so basically from 2001 to 2009, they have identified 13 species and more than 3,000 frog calls, right? So if we take a look at this sentence, where it refers to the common spade frog, okay, it's only been recorded for the second time in the history of the census, okay? Twice in the span of 8 years, right? That is only like a quarter, right? So it's not very common at all. If anything, it's very unlikely So let's take a look at the question once more, okay? The status of a common spade frog is not common, nor is it overpopulated, okay? It's only coming up like a 2 out of 8 years, like when they did record it, right? So if it was common, perhaps like it should be recorded at least half of the time, right? So 4 out of 8 years. Overpopulated, it should mean that it would be the species of a common spade frog would be recorded like 8 out of 8 times, 8 out of 8 years basically. Now, extinct, right? Extinct would mean that there would be 0 out of 8 years, okay? Extinct means no longer living, right? But rare is the perfect word for this because it's not common, so it's not more than half or more. But it's like they do exist and they are seen in like Melbourne, but it's not really seen, right? So rare, uncommon, right? Kind of ironic as well, considering it's a common spade frog. And so the purpose of this text, considering that this is very informative, okay, to advertise and inform, they're trying to convince us to perhaps join this society, like the water frog census, but also trying to tell us what the society does, which is basically record species of frogs and frog calls, okay? So yeah, so unfortunately I won't be able to go through the remaining questions with you guys, but just to sum this all up, I'd like you guys to pay attention to punctuation and why it's been put there, okay? So why has your full stop been put at a certain area? That's because it should be a complete sentence, right? Why is there a comma or why is there a dash? Because the sentence is not completed, because there is a sudden change of mind or an additional piece of information. So please consider that as you do go along your study, specifically in closed passages. That's a really helpful tip, in my opinion. And for the extract we had just gone through, and also for the next extract, I'd really like you guys to consider the purpose of it, okay? What is the text trying to communicate? Why would someone write this said extract, okay? Consider if it's a poem or if it's a story. Consider how they romanticize certain items or certain phrases to make the image a bit more aesthetic or pleasing to us, okay? So we have to kind of take off those glosses every now and then, take off that romanticization of something, just to know what they're trying to tell us, okay? But also understand that they're trying to paint it in that light. So yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you guys next week, and yeah, please take care. Bye.